Have you ever come across someone online and just paused for a second, wondering how everything changed so fast? One moment, you've never seen their face before, and the next, they're everywhere. On your Explore page, your Reels, your timeline, it almost feels like they appeared out of nowhere. That's exactly the kind of story we're talking about today. The rise of Reid is one of those internet moments that makes people stop scrolling and start asking questions. Because when someone grows this fast, the curiosity naturally follows. Who is she? Where did she come from? And more importantly, how did she do it? Before we get into all of that, if you enjoy deep dives into internet success, influencer growth, and how people are turning attention into real income online, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Because on this channel, we don't just talk about what's trending, we break down how it actually works. Now here's the thing, what most people see is the surface. The polished content, the growing numbers, the attention, but what they don't see is everything that comes before that moment, because nobody really goes viral overnight, it only looks that way from the outside. Like many others, Reid started from a point where she was just another person posting online. No massive spotlight, no guaranteed audience, just content going out into the digital space. And that's where most people are today, posting, hopping, waiting. But here, where things begin to separate. There are people who post randomly, and then there are people who begin to understand the system. Because social media today isn't just about posting, it's about positioning. It's about knowing what catches attention, what makes people stop scrolling, and what keeps them watching just a little bit longer than they plan to. And that's one of the biggest shifts that changed everything. Instead of just posting for the sake of posting, she leaned into content that was visually engaging, simple to consume, and optimized for the way platforms actually work. Short videos, strong presence, repeatable formats. The kind of content that doesn't just get watched once but loops, replays, and spreads. And if you've ever wondered why some videos seem to follow you everywhere, that's not luck. That's the algorithm doing exactly what it was designed to do. If you're still watching at this point, you're already picking up on something most people ignore. So go ahead and subscribe right now, because understanding this could completely change how you approach social media. Now let's talk about consistency, because this is where most people fall off. A lot of people try for a few days, some try for a few weeks, very few stay long enough to actually see results. But growth online rewards repetition. Showing up again and again, even when nothing seems to be happening yet. Testing different styles, adjusting, learning what works. And eventually something clicks. For Reid, that moment didn't just come from one post. It came from building momentum. One piece of content leading to another, slowly increasing visibility, slowly attracting attention until the algorithm had enough data to push things further. And once that push begins, everything starts to accelerate. More views turn into more engagement turns into more reach, and more reach introduces the content to completely new audiences who have never seen it before. That's when the real shift happens. Because now it's no longer just content, it's presence. People begin to recognize the face, the name starts to stick, the profile grows faster, and curiosity kicks in. And curiosity is one of the most powerful forces on the internet. When people don't fully understand something, they lean in closer, they watch more, they search, they follow just to see what happens next. And all of that activity sends a signal back to the platform that this is something worth pushing even further. If you've ever thought to yourself, why do some people blow up so fast while others do? This is exactly why. It's not always about being the most talented, it's about understanding attention. And attention, in today's world, is one of the most valuable assets you can have. Because once you have attention, you have options. And this is where things start to shift from just posting content to building something much bigger. If you're still here, drop a comment saying I'm next, because at this point you're not just watching anymore, you're learning the game. Now think about this. Every like, every comment, every share, it all adds up. Not just as numbers, but as signals. Signals that tell platforms what people care about. And when your content consistently sends the right signals, the system starts working for you instead of against you. That's when growth becomes faster. That's when opportunities begin to appear. And that's when people start turning content into real income. Because the moment you build an audience, you're no longer just a viewer, you're a creator with leverage. Brands begin to notice, partnerships become possible, digital opportunities expand. And suddenly, something that started as simple content turns into something that can actually generate revenue. This is what people mean when they talk about the creator economy. It's not just about being popular, it's about turning visibility into value. But here's something important that most people don't realize. Going viral is one thing. Staying relevant is something completely different. Because the internet moves fast. What works today might not work next week. Trends change, algorithms shift, audiences evolve. And the people who stay on top are the ones who adapt. They don't rely on one moment. They build systems. They learn their audience. They stay consistent even when things slow down. And they keep showing up. That's what separates temporary attention from long-term growth. And that's what makes stories like this so interesting. Because when you look at someone like Reid, you're not just looking at a person who gained attention. You're looking at someone who understood how to operate in a space where millions are competing for the same thing. Visibility, recognition, opportunity. And instead of getting lost in the noise, she found a way to stand out. Not by doing something completely impossible, but by doing the right things consistently at the right time. If you've made it this far, you're clearly interested in how all of this works. So make sure you like this video and subscribe because we're going even deeper in future breakdowns. Now here's the part that really matters. A lot of people watch stories like this and think, that could never be me. But the truth is the gap between where you are and where someone like this is often smaller than you think. It's not always about resources. It's not always about connections. Sometimes it's about understanding the system and actually applying it. Starting before you feel ready. Posting before everything is perfect. Learning as you go. Because every creator you see today started at zero. No audience. No guarantee. Just a decision to begin. And that's the part most people never take. They wait, they hesitate, they overthink. Meanwhile, the people who take action move forward. One post at a time. One video at a time. One step at a time. Until eventually things change. And when they do, it looks like it happened overnight. But now you know the truth. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown. And tell me in the comments, who should we cover next? Because the next story might be even bigger than this one. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll be telling your story too.